Welcome to my Stop Fighting with Your Son podcast. If this is your first time here, I recorded 4 episodes especially for you to help you eliminate the fights right away and start connecting with your boy as soon as possible. Go to episodes 54 through 59. I have 4 boys of my own, and I know better than anyone how much you want to have a good relationship with your boy and all the things that can come in your way. If you are a mom of boys, I am the coach for you. Let's go. Hey guys, how's it going? It's going well here. Kids are home. We're doing fun things all together, and I am trying to balance some me time and some quiet time with all the kids. And so here I am. It's Wednesday morning, and I'm recording this for you. And I'm excited because the topic, what I'm about to tell you, has actually been so helpful to me. So I'm pretty sure it will be very helpful to you. Okay. So, what it is, I actually applied it yesterday in my life with my kids. And have you ever felt like you're disconnected from someone, like from your husband or your girlfriend or your anyone, right? Your kids. And you felt like, oh, for example, I used to feel like that a lot with my husband. Not a lot, but often. I would think, oh, I don't feel connected, or we haven't talked in a while. So I feel like he hasn't talked to me in a while, so that I feel disconnected and I'm craving that connection, right? And the same I noticed with my kids. I was like, oh, I don't feel good about all of my kids right now. I feel like they're not being nice. And I'm craving that good connection. And when I noticed that, I remembered what it is that I do. And what it is that I do is I flip it around. I flip it around and I ask myself, have I created connection with them? Have I done something that will connect me to them? Right? Because of what they do, like your husband or your kids, or what they say, does not create the connection of feeling for me. The only way to create that feeling of connection for me is with my own brain and my own actions. Okay, so if I have not been feeling connection, that means I have not been thinking thoughts that feel good, that feel like connection. So then I noticed, oh, right, of course, if I've been thinking all these thoughts like, oh, they're too loud and this is too much work, then of course that does not create the feeling of connection. That creates a feeling of maybe tiredness or frustration. Then from that feeling, I have not been showing up, I've not been acting in a loving, caring way. And that's what I am missing. I'm missing the feeling of connection. I'm missing the action of caring and loving, right? And so what I then need to do is ask myself, okay, how can I create connection and loving and care for myself? Okay, then I need to think, oh, maybe I'll make them, what would they like for breakfast, right? I'll make them this for breakfast. And if I genuinely get there, right? If I genuinely feel and the feeling of like curious and caring about what they would like for breakfast, then I get to feel that connection for myself, right? And then I show up and I make them that breakfast and I feel very good and I feel loving. I feel like a good mom. And throughout this whole time, my kids have not done a thing different to make me feel different, right? Do you notice that? The whole time it was always me. Before it was always me creating my feeling of disconnect. And now when I'm thinking about them and caring about them and doing some things for them, I am creating that feeling of connection for me. And I've tested it so many times with my husband because for me, I always want to chit chat with him. I want to connect. I want to know what's up, tell me all the things. And then when I'm doing that, when I'm asking him, when I'm curious about him, I feel caring, I feel loving, I feel connected, right? Because my thoughts are like, oh, I wonder what's going on for him, right? And so I
feel all these good feelings, right? But it's not coming from him. Like I used to think, oh, it's because he's telling me things that I feel good, that I feel connected, because I know. No, it's because of my thoughts about him and me being curious and me caring. Those are the thoughts that make me feel connected and caring and loving, right? And so when there were times when I would be disconnected from my husband, it's because I have not been thinking, oh, I wonder how his day's going. I wonder what's going on for him. How's he doing? It's because I've been not thinking about him at all, and I feel I miss those feelings for him. I want to feel connected. I want to feel like really together with him, right? As a team. So then I remember, oh, right, it's because I haven't been doing my part. And then I have to remind myself, and then I think, oh, right, let me think about him now. And as soon as I think about him, and remember, I don't need him to do anything for me. And this is a misunderstanding that I've had for a while, for a long time. I thought, oh, it's because he hasn't reached out to me. It's because he hasn't asked me how my day is, right? It's because he hasn't done something for me. But it's never been that, because whenever he would do that, if I'm not in a caring, thoughtful mindset, then I would receive it in a different way, right? And then if I do receive it in a way that makes me think thoughts of care and connection, then it's still not him creating those thoughts, it's still me, right? Let's say he says, oh, how are you doing, right? Then what my thought is about that will determine how I feel, right? So if he says that and I think, oh my gosh, like I love him and I wonder how he's doing, then that thought will determine how I feel. That thought creates connection and love for me and not what he says, right? I hope I'm explaining it clearly, but that was my biggest misunderstanding for a long time in a relationship and our marriage, is that how I feel is determined whether he talks to me or not. No. How I think about him every single moment will determine how I feel about us, about him. So now I can create that connection on demand because I've studied my thoughts and I know what kind of thoughts create that loving connection with him and with my kids. And then I know, okay, if I haven't been feeling that, then I go to work and I think, okay, back to work. What does my husband need today? How can I help him? What can I do for him today? These thoughts make me feel amazing. I feel connected, I feel caring, I feel like a best wife, and I feel like I have the best husband when I think those thoughts. And so the same thing I applied yesterday with my kids because I felt disconnected. And as soon as I noticed it, I thought, oh, perfect. Tomorrow I'll clean up the kitchen and I will make them the best breakfast. Like, what would they like? And then I'll think of what they want to do, also what I would like to do. But I will think about them and what would they like to do and how are they doing, right? And all of a sudden, it made me feel so much better and so much more connected to them. It made me feel like a good mom. And I was able to do that all without changing what they're doing, all without having them say anything to me, all without them doing anything, right? So this is what I wish for you, is to be able to create that connection for you on demand with anyone in the world, because that connection will always come from your thoughts about them. Okay? So I learned this turnaround from Byron Katie. If you don't know her, definitely look her up. She has done some amazing work. She had this breakthrough and was enlightened and now has shared all her knowledge with everyone in books and videos and audios. So definitely look her up. But basically, this turnaround that she taught everyone, me, is that if you are thinking something like, he's not connected to me, flip that around. I am not connected to him. and basically question the original belief. How is it not true that he's not connected to me? And maybe the opposite is true. Maybe I am not connected to him. And once you do that, your mind will be blown. And if you are open to it, and if you're open to seeing the opposite as being true, your whole world will open up and you will have the control back, the option to connect to him right away. Because the truth is, you are not connecting to him. Just like in the example that I told you today. And so that turnaround is so helpful sometimes, because it just needs to get us out of our prison of our mind where we are believing something to be true, but we need to get out of that belief. We need to question it. We need to wiggle around. We need to see, maybe I'm not showing up in the way that I want to be showing up. How am I doing what it is that I think that they're doing, right? So turn around, flip it around on the other end and see, is that true? Maybe I'm doing that, right? So I hope that's helpful for you. Ask yourself these questions. Ask, if I'm not feeling what I want to be feeling, how am I not showing up in a way that I want to be showing up? How can I create this, if he doesn't understand me, how can I create understanding? Maybe I'm not understanding him, right? How can I understand him better? Or how can I understand myself better in this situation, right? And if the kids are not appreciating me, am I appreciating me? Do I appreciate them, right? Turn around, flip it around, turn it different ways, and try to create that appreciation for yourself with your thought. You can simply decide to think and believe, my kids appreciate me, right? And if you are having trouble believing that thought, then I can help you find other thoughts that lead you to believe that thought. They're called ladder thoughts. And wiggle your other thoughts so that you eventually believe that your kids appreciate you, okay? So play around with that if you are struggling with that. If you have any questions about that, I would love to answer them. This is what I do. I work with your thoughts about your kids, about your son, and if you're stuck and you can't connect with your son, and if you're fighting with him, I am the one to help you with your relationship with your son, because it all starts with your thoughts about him. And this is where I can help, because I can see your thoughts from outside of your brain way better than you can see them in your own brain. Sometimes what we believe is the truth is actually just a thought, a sentence in our brain that we think is true. So I can point it out to you and point it out and say, hey, did you notice you're thinking this thought, and this thought is creating disconnection for you? And did you know that this thought is optional, right? This is just an example. So come to me. The first session is absolutely free. If you have any questions, I can answer them for you. And this is possible for you to have a good relationship with your son for the rest of your life, to be free of that struggle, to be free of the worry. You can be worry-free for the rest of your life. You can be guilt-free, worry-free, and you can have the freedom to enjoy the rest of your life and enjoy the rest of your time with your son without struggling and having a good relationship with him. This I know for sure. So you can find me at www.coachingnatalia.com. Come sign up. There's a tab called Sign Up for a Free Mini Session, and I will see you there. And if you can't find any times that work for you, you can just email me and we'll figure something out, okay? Have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. And I'm on a roll.